Let's examine the numbers.
The thing that sticks out to me right here is the height. The height of Edward Ortiz. He's going to be rangy. He's going to be fast. He's going to look to keep him on the outside all night.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Staples Center here in Los Angeles, it is now time for our PBC on FS1 main event of the evening. 10 rounds in the middleweight division. Brought to you by TGB Promotions in association with Samson Boxing. Sponsored by Geico. Your 3 judges scoring this contest at ringside will be Pat Russell, Thomas Taylor, and Zachary Young. The referee in charge when the bell sounds is Edward Hernandez Sr. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He comes in wearing the red and gold, weighing in officially at 163 pounds. His record 11 wins, no losses, 2 draws, 4 wins coming by way of knockouts. Joining us from San Antonio, Texas, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the undefeated Edward the Hunter Ortiz. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. He comes in wearing the white trunks trimmed with the blue, weighing in officially at 161 3/4 pounds. As a professional, he too is undefeated, 11 wins, 10 of those coming inside the distance. Desde Montevideo, Uruguay. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the undefeated, el invicto, Amilcar Vidal.
Take your shirt off. Take your shirt off. Poppy.
Keep him warm.
Put it in his mouth. All right, gentlemen, I've been over the rules with you both. You're professionals. I expect you to conduct yourself as such. Touch gloves. Good luck.
Can Amilcar Vidal remain undefeated and continue in his quest to try to become the first Uruguayan to capture a world title? Or will Edward Ortiz from San Antonio use his technical boxing skills to frustrate the power puncher from Uruguay? Referee in charge is Edward Hernandez Sr, who is in his 273rd professional bout. Both men risking their undefeated records here at Staples Center here in Los Angeles.
Ready? Ready?
And we are underway. Ray Flores, Showtime, Sean Porter, Jordan Plant here in Los Angeles. A matchup between 2 unbeaten middleweights. Already you're seeing the jab come out by Edward Ortiz, who claims that is his best punch. For Vidal, every single opponent that he has fought has tasted the canvas. Just one of his adversaries has gone the distance with him, and that being Nicolas Palacios back in August of 2019 in his native home country of Uruguay.
I'm seeing it now. That was the thing I saw on film of Vidal. He doesn't waste energy. Doesn't waste his punches. Eventually the jab's going to start to come out, and he's going to try to line up that straight right hand.
Well, the whole camp of Vidal, they are quite amazed by his will and the life tribulations that he's dealt with. We will get into that in detail with Jordan Plant later on. But with Edward Ortiz, he claimed from a stylistic standpoint, he feels that Vidal throws wild and leaves himself susceptible to be countered.
You know, I think he's confident in his experience in the ring, both amateur and pro. And we can see right now that he wants to control the ring and keep it right there in the center. He's not going to be on the ropes, and you're not going to see him using the whole ring. He doesn't need to against Vidal.
Just over the halfway mark of the first round. Sean, you have fought in the bubble. This is Ortiz's second straight fight in the bubble. How much of a, in terms of getting accustomed to, is it important to be able to dive into that?
You just got to tap into something a little different. Other people, most fights, you got to tap into a loud crowd and drown it out. Here, you got to tap into, listening to your inner self a little bit more than you have the opportunity to when there's fans in the stands.
Ortiz feels that's going to be a big advantage against Vidal because he's coming off of a win on your card, August 22, a split decision win over Antonio Tan.
Yeah, I agree. There are a lot of people. Think of it like this: a lot of people are comfortable alone, and when they hear noise, it makes them uncomfortable. But in here, it's the complete opposite. But when you're doing sports, it's the opposite. You gotta be used to people making a lot of noise. So now, not hearing much. I'm sure they're hearing us right now, and that's not something that they're used to.
A left hook to the body by Vidal.
Just makes things a little different.
Ortiz. Are you surprised that Ortiz is staying in the range of Vidal right now? Here's a left hook that connected by Vidal, followed by a left hook to the body.
Yeah, I like Ortiz to keep him on the end of the jab and not lean in the way that he is.
There's a right hand that backed up Ortiz, driving him to the ropes. Final moments of the first. What a journey for Amilcar Vidal coming to us from Uruguay, Sean. He went from Montevideo to Coachella, where he now lives on the compound of Sebastian Fundora, who incidentally will be taking on Jorge Cota, and then made it here to Los Angeles. What does he need to do in order to gain the W?
He's got to utilize his jab, use it as a measuring stick for that big right hand that he can land. And also, I like to see his output come up.
Meantime, for Edward Ortiz, what does he have to do? And we will get into that a little bit later, but I think Ortiz, you mentioned it, Sean, that he needs to use his jab and keep his distance.
Yeah, and he came out in the very first round, the beginning of the very first round, using it, and then he went away from it, started to stand in there and lean in. Get comfortable, keep the guy on the end of the jab, and try to set something up from there.
Well, typically in prize fighting, the first few rounds are the feeling out process. And I think we saw that out of Vidal. He threw power, but he was more selective with his punch output.
I agree. I think both guys were using that first round just to kind of get on, and I think that now Vidal is seeing that Ortiz is willing to stand there, so he's going to try to throw that straight right like he did.
Well, the win for Edward Ortiz over Antonio Todd was a confidence booster because he told us in fighter meetings that, look, Vidal has fought limited opposition. He went as far as to say he's fought cab drivers. I have fought the higher level of opponent.
Yeah, and I expect Ortiz's experience to show up tonight. He's going to be able to make some moves, keep Vidal on his toes and make him miss. It's all about him capitalizing Ortiz.
You mentioned that experience. Ortiz has 58 rounds under his belt compared to just 30 for Vidal.
Yeah, it makes a difference, especially when you got professional rounds under your belt. But again, Ortiz has a pretty extensive amateur background as well, winning some open national tournaments. I didn't even win.
Well, that's impressive to be able to go ahead and do that. He just started boxing in his late teens, did Edward Ortiz. From San Antonio, knows Mario Barrios and that nice litany. There's a big right hand that shook him up. Vidal going on the attack, trying to finish off Edward Ortiz. Heavy power shot from the Uruguayan. He's unloading upon Edward Ortiz. A big right hand. He is wobbled. Edward Hernandez Sr. watching the action. A big crushing right hand by Vidal. And Ortiz remains upright. Big shots. And this one is over.
Wow.
What a performance for Amilcar Vidal to finish off Edward Ortiz to remain undefeated.
That's a fighter there. That's a fighter. Vidal not going to stop. He's making sure that referee came in to stop that fight. He wasn't going to stop punching until either Ortiz went down or the referee stepped in.
Ortiz had never been down in his career, and Vidal went on the attack. He had him hurt, and he closed the show in emphatic fashion.
And it's funny because I was talking about the experience of Ortiz. He hasn't had experience trying to survive, and that's what he needed to do right there. He needed to grab him and hold on to Vidal, but he wasn't able to.
It was the big right hand over the top, which signaled the end of the night. But look at the selection and overwhelming Ortiz by Vidal.
Overwhelming him. Wide left hooks and wide right hands. I think those were punches that Ortiz said he would throw. And unfortunately, he got caught with a lot of them tonight.
Also, he had compact punches as well, Sean, in that exchange. As we take a look at that overhand right.
Yeah, the overhand right is really short and compact. I like the word you used right there. Compact just outside of the right hand, the glove that Ortiz has up, protecting the inside of his face, but not wide enough to block the shots that Vidal was delivering.
What I like about Vidal, too, is when he had him hurt, he just started emptying out the tank, and he was unloading in machine gun-like bursts.
No hesitation. No hesitation, no surrender. And that's what Vidal went for. He saw it, and he went for it, and he did not stop. I'm impressed with him tonight. It's a short fight, 2 rounds, but I'm impressed with what I saw. Here's the finish right here. Big right hands. I knew that would be the big punch for him, but smart enough to know that he needs to use both hands to open up Ortiz to get the big stoppage right here where the referee's going to step in eventually.
He was hitting him in stereo with both hands is what he was doing.
There you go, in stereo.
Man, oh man, Amilcar Vidal now elevates his record to 12 victories with 11 wins coming by way of knockout. That is a very happy young man as he remains perfect. And there is Amilcar Vidal, who vanquishes his 4th undefeated opponent in Edward Ortiz. Sean, here's how it all broke down numerically.
Yeah, it was just 2 rounds, but just in those 2 rounds, you could see that Vidal, at the moment he had the opportunity to go after it, he went after it and did not let go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 1 minute 58 seconds of the 2nd round for your winner by knockout and still undefeated from Uruguay, Amilcar Vidal. Sean, he is someone, if I could buy stock in a young fighter, I would buy stock in him immediately because I think he's going to be majorly problematic for other 160-pounders.
You know, he's 12-0 now. He's still got some growing to do, but right here we saw him take care of business tonight. Just in 2 rounds, that's where statistics lie right now. Big right hand, and he did not hesitate. That was the most important thing. A part of that growth process as a professional, knowing your guy's hurt and recognize the right punches to throw in order to get them out of there. He recognized that Ortiz had his hands up, so he started going around his gloves in order to land the big right hands and the big left hooks. A lot of barrages right there. And I think he was looking for the knockout, but the ref stepped in, and that was good enough for the victory for him.
Well, when you talk about looking, that look in his eyes in terms of punch selection, I see that look in his eyes. He's very selective. He uses quality punches to finish off the night.
Yeah, what we didn't see right there was the patience he showed all the way up until that moment where he landed that big right hand and got Ortiz on the ropes.
He's standing by with our own Jordan Plant.
Thank you, Ray. Congratulations, Amilcar. Great performance. You told us in the fighter meetings that you saw the mistakes that Ortiz made. You slipped his punch and countered with the right hand. Was that a mistake that you saw?
Eso es lo que sucedió ahora, lo que hablaste anteriormente, lo que tenías pensado y lo hiciste.
Sí, estábamos preparados para hacer los 10 rounds, entrenamos para eso, creo que hicimos un gran campamento, pero yo sabía que cuando conectara mis manos él la iba a sentir. Y bueno, pues sabíamos que en cualquier momento que conectara y metiera mis manos, iba.
He did by the book. He trained for that, and when the time he come and he know that when he feel this punch, it will be the end of the night. But he worked very hard, and he have no time to find another way besides to knock him out in a way and perform that he did it.
And it was awesome. Now, let's talk about this scar on your arm right here. You were hit by a car, and the doctors told you that you would never walk again, let alone fight. And here you are with a knockout stoppage tonight. Samson, you actually said when you saw him in the wheelchair and he told you he'll be back because of boxing, that you knew that he would be one of the greats in the sport.
Yeah, not only that, we did a program with the WBC and Mauricio Suleiman of amateur, and he was the champion. And he went to Mexico and he trained and all the way undefeated in Mexico, and now he come up to be a professional. However, el doctor te dijo de que no ibas a hacer nunca más boxeo, de que capaz que nunca vas a caminar, y hoy estás acá. ¿Qué decís de eso?
No, creo que es fuerza de la familia, voluntad también mía. Yo en el momento que tuve el accidente, lo que quería era revertir la situación, porque me había agarrado en un momento muy bueno de mi carrera, y yo quería en todo momento revertir la situación. Entonces creo que psicológicamente eso me fortaleció para volver Y bueno, contra todos los pronósticos pude volver y hacer lo que más me gusta, ¿no? Que le dediqué gran parte de mi vida.
When he got the action, it was the top of his career as an amateur. And then the only thing he was left is to think about it, dream about it, and reverse the outcome of that accident and what the doctors say. So with his family, that all the family is boxing people, the father, the grandfather, the brothers, everyone is a boxer, and he born in a ring. So definitely he did the job, and hopefully he will do it again.
Yes, you're a walking miracle and living your dream. Congratulations to you, Amilcar. And Samson Lukowitz, his promoter, thank you so much for translating.
No,
Ray,
my
back
pleasure.
to you.
Thank you very much. God bless you all.